If you have come across this content, it is vital to realize that this was not a random occurrence or a lucky guess by a computer program. There are specific times in a person's life when your gut feeling takes the lead and points you toward a solution that your logical brain cannot quite put into words. This is exactly one of those specific times. It is very likely that for a while now you have carried the feeling that a particular story in your life is just hanging there like a sentence that was never finished, or a song that cut out before the final note played. It does not feel like a real conclusion, but it is also not moving toward any kind of clear answer. This sense of being stuck is not just something you are imagining or a dream created by a wish to hold on to what used to be. It is a genuine feeling that a cycle exists which has not yet been closed the right way. Life is watching what you carry deep inside in the quiet moments. The universe is a witness to your nights without sleep, your mental fog, and that same old question of whether what you went through was just a trick of the mind or a solid truth. It senses the emotional burnout that happens when your faith starts to fade because you don't see any real proof in the physical world around you. However, if you are seeing this message right now, it is because there is still a burning spark inside this bond. Maybe there were things left unsaid, choices delayed because of fear, or emotions hidden behind your own pride and quiet. The most difficult part of this time is not the physical space or the lack of online chats, but the stress of not knowing if you should keep having faith in the bond or try to walk away from it for good. This feeling of doubt is much heavier than any clear no could ever be. It is very important to understand that this message does not arrive to make you more confused, but to give you a very strong sense of clarity. The fear you are feeling right now comes from trying to fix a deep spiritual matter using only basic logical tools. You have spent time trying to study every move, every absence, and every quiet moment of this person to find an explanation that makes sense. But very deep connections do not follow normal logic. What is about to be decided in your life depends on a choice inside you that only your soul can make. Not tomorrow, and not when you feel like you have more strength, but right now. There are some bonds that do not wait forever and specific moments of opportunity that open up to allow for either a reunion or a total release. Your next move is not just a tiny action or a small gesture. It is not about sending a quick message without thinking or trying to force a face-to-face meeting. It is about a change in your own awareness that has the strength to either clear a path or shut it down forever. Certain bonds did not just appear out of thin air. There was a moment where you both saw each other, something that woke up parts of you that had been resting, and that is exactly why being apart felt so painful. But the good news is that fate does not mess around with your heart. If this person is still taking up room in your mind, it is because the lesson and the reason for the bond are still meaningful. Get yourself ready, because what you are about to find out will change how you think about silence and will give you the tool to open up the flow of this relationship again. If you are ready to bring this lesson into your life, write in the comments, "I activate my destiny today." To move forward toward fixing this bond, you first have to prove to yourself that your feelings are real and throw away the idea that you are acting crazy. The world and the people around you often tell you to just forget quickly and suggest that moving on is just a matter of trying hard. However, deep psychology and the rules of the universe both agree on one basic thing. Physical space is just an illusion when the mental bond stays busy. You cannot simply forget because this is not a normal memory. It is a very deep recognition that happens on a level where time and space do not work the same way they do in the material world. Carl Jung, who was a very smart mind in the study of the human spirit, talked about the collective unconscious and the idea of meaningful accidents. Jung thought that there are events that seem like they happen by chance, but are actually linked by a very deep meaning. When two people have shared real closeness and a literal opening of their souls, a mental bridge is built that does not just fall apart because you stop talking. This is why sometimes, out of nowhere, the memory of this person hits you with a very strong power, or why you see this person in your dreams exactly when you had made up your mind to stop thinking about them. It is not an obsession. It is information. It is proof that the bond is still very much alive on a level you cannot see. This connection is not judged by how many messages you send or by promises that don't mean much. It is judged by what wakes up inside your heart every time this person's energy enters your mind. It is judged by the way your heart feels and by how your gut feeling stays strong even when your logical brain tries to say the bond doesn't matter. This does not happen by accident. It happens because there is a link allowed by a higher intelligence to teach you something very basic about love and about your own self. For a long time, you have tried to grasp this story by looking at how the other person acts on the outside. You acted as if the whole truth lived there, but the secret is not on the outside. This person came into your life to act as a very clear mirror. Everything that draws you to them and everything that hurts you when they are gone are just reflections of things that live inside of you. Jung talked about projection, and in this specific case, this person came to show you your very deep fears of being left alone, but also your huge ability to love and be open. That is why the lack of a clear answer hurts so much, because you are not just scared of losing someone else. You are scared of losing the part of yourself that woke up because of this bond, that soft and open part of you that can feel things so deeply. The real fear is that you will close yourself off again. It is the idea that your inner light will fade away if this person does not come back to you. It is important to realize that the universe has not punished you with this feeling. If the memory stays, it is because the inner change that this connection was meant to start is not done yet. Soul-to-soul links have a goal for your growth. They do not show up just to fill a boring day, but to start growth that would never happen if you were alone. However, this is where most people make a very big mistake that stops the return from happening. They stay stuck looking at the mirror, hoping the image will change by itself, without knowing that a mirror has no power of its own. The mirror only shows what is standing in front of it. As long as you keep showing expectation, fear, and a sense of need, the mirror will give back space and silence. But there is a switch, a way to change the image you see that quickly changes the reality of the bond. There is a tiny mistake you make every single morning that pushes away the thing you want to attract most. Understanding this is the very first step to taking your power back in this story. It is vital to look into the daily habits that keep this situation from moving and to study the behavior that you don't even know is becoming the biggest wall to meeting again. There is a hidden routine that many people in this spot start to follow almost like a ritual of sadness. It starts the moment you wake up, when your very first thought goes to the fact that this person is not there. It goes on with you checking your phone, looking for a note that never arrived, looking at when they were last online, or searching for clues on social media that might show what the other person is thinking or feeling. This constant watching, which your brain thinks is a way to keep the link alive or keep control, is really the quiet mistake that makes the connection grow cold. Waiting, even though most people think it's nothing, is not a quiet or neutral thing to do. Waiting is a very busy and strong, energetic act, but its weight is very heavy. When you put yourself in the energy of waiting, you send a constant signal to the universe and to the other person's mind that says very clearly, "This is not here. This is missing." Waiting lives on the feeling of not having enough, and in the world of energy and universal laws, not having enough only brings more of the same. By keeping yourself in a state of nervous waiting, you are actually telling everyone you don't trust them. You are saying that you do not trust destiny to handle the return. This is why you feel the need to always watch the whole process. Here, a basic mental and energetic rule comes into play, explaining why the more you try to get closer or find out about this person, the further they move away. It is the cycle of chasing and running. On a level you don't see, all people want to feel free in their choice to love. When the other person feels, even from far away, that your health, your stability, and your joy depend only on them coming back, they feel a hidden but very heavy pressure. This pressure does not always show up in words. It is felt in the shared energy as a quiet demand or a heavy load. It is as if someone were trying to stand up straight by leaning all their weight on someone else's shoulders. The natural reaction of the person carrying this weight is to pull back so they can find their balance and space again. Therefore, waiting too long makes things cold, not because love is gone, but because the energy has become heavy and hard to breathe. Fate sees this lack of movement in your own life as you giving up your personal power. While your life stops and waits for someone else to hit the start button, the natural flow of life gets blocked. Life usually does not reward staying still. When you put your life on pause, thinking this is a sign of being loyal or having true love, you are actually building a wall of resistance. Resistance comes from fear. Fear that if you stop looking, if you stop waiting, or if you stop being worried, the link will fade away. This fear is a big liar. It makes you believe that your stress is the glue keeping you together, when really it is the thing that stops the other person from feeling a natural desire to come closer. Honestly, look at how much of your life energy leaks away in this waiting game. This confusion and tiredness are signs that you are swimming against the current. You are trying to force open a door that only opens from the inside. Being obsessed with how things turn out has pulled you away from your center. And this distance is what the other person sees as a lack of attraction. The mistake is not in wanting to meet again. That is natural. The mistake is needing the meeting just to be able to breathe in peace. Again, there is a very big difference between wanting someone to be part of your life and needing someone to be your whole life. Waiting too much puts the other person on a high pedestal and puts you in a place where you are begging for energy, and no real bond, no relationship on a high soul level can work if it is not equal. For love to be real and last, it must be given between two people who are already whole, not between one person who runs away and another who needs to be saved. Stopping this defense is vital. It is not about acting like you don't care, because the universe does not react to acting. It reacts to real feelings. It is about knowing that your fear does not make time go faster. It just makes it feel heavier. Waiting is a form of fighting against life because it means you think the right now is not enough. It means something big is missing for life to be worth it. And as long as you say no to your present, the future you want can't get there. Life sees this feeling of lack and gives you more waiting time because of the law of the mirror. To change the outside, you first have to have the guts to stop looking at what is missing and look at what you already have. It is an act of real faith to let go of watching so that life can do its job. If you could see how reality is woven from a higher spot, you would see that being physically apart is not as final as it looks. Modern science has started to look at ideas where two things that have touched each other stay linked and share info no matter how far apart they are. On a soul level, This is a very old truth. Minds that have touched each other stay in constant touch through a path that needs no tech or talking. There is a hidden link, like a thread that keeps the flow of feelings between you and this special person active. This explains why sometimes the other person feels the inner moves you make, even if they don't understand why. Maybe it happened to you that on the day you really decided to stop being worried and just take care of yourself, you got a sign or a message from them. This is not luck. It is how the energy works. When you stop pulling on your end of the thread, the other person feels a sudden relief, like a weight was lifted, and that makes them curious. While you pull on the rope with your need and your obsession, the other side gets tight and fights back. When you let go of the rope, the tension goes away, and getting closer is possible again. This hidden communication shows up in small signs that you often ignore because they seem too weird. Dreams are a great place for these meetings. Dreaming of this person when nothing reminded you of them is usually a sign that their mind is thinking about you. Also, those sudden hits of sadness or joy for no reason can be echoes of what the other person is going through. It is like you are sharing an emotional system at a distance. The hidden link is like a radio that never turns off, but the quality of the sound depends on how clear the channel is. If your inner world is full of noise, fear, and bad thoughts about the other person, the signal gets messed up. An emotional block is created that stops messages of love from getting through. You might feel that this person gets close and then leaves in a way that is confusing. This happens because there is a block inside you that stops the physical meeting. This block is not the other person or their life. The block is the weight of your own fear of losing. Your gut knows the story is not over because the energy is still moving, but you must know the difference between real intuition and needy attachment. Intuition is quiet. It is a calm knowing that says everything is okay. Trust it. Attachment is loud and full of panic. The hidden link gets stronger with calm and weaker with desperation. If you can stay neutral where you love without needing to own them, you clean the path. There is a cool thing that happens in these deep bonds called emotional telepathy. It is not about reading words, but about feeling states of being. When you are at peace, you send peace that invites them in. When you are at war inside, you send conflict that makes them hide. Even if you haven't talked for months, they react more to your energy than to what you do. This is why tricks to make them jealous never work in soul links. The other person feels the fake energy and stays away. Knowing this brings a lot of responsibility. You can't see yourself as a victim of them being gone because you know you are always talking through energy. Every time you change a thought of losing for a thought of trust, you send an invite. Every time you heal yourself, you make the bond lighter. The red thread between souls is very strong. It does not break with time, but it has to be free of knots. Sometimes life lets you be apart, so you can find the power of this bond and learn to trust what you can't see. When you can feel the bond in the quiet and honor it without needing proof, you are a master of love, and that makes you impossible to resist. The energy of someone who knows who they are and trusts their link is like a magnet. Remember that the universe leaves nothing unfinished. If the bond is this strong inside you, there is a reality for it outside. One side cannot exist without the other. Your real wish is proof that the other person is also in this dance, even if they are slow right now. What looks like a block outside is often just you fighting against the idea that you deserve love without having to suffer or chase it. By making your own signal clear, you let the link do its work so the meeting becomes certain. Everything you have heard brings us to right now, a moment where you can't wait anymore. You are at a crossroads where the story stops being about luck and starts being about what you want. Until now, you have been waiting for someone else to make you feel safe. But the universe doesn't give the lead to someone who won't take it. The next step is not a trick or a perfect text. The real step is a move of power inside you. You have to choose between fear or being certain. For too long, fear has been writing the script. It tells you that if you stop pushing, the bond will die. But the truth is the opposite. Fear is what is choking the bond. The step you must take today is giving up the desire to control how it ends so you can get your peace back. Here is the big secret of soul bonds. To have something, you have to be okay with losing it or letting go of your tight grip. This is not about not loving, but about not needing. It is about being independent. When you decide your joy is not a coin in someone else's pocket, everything changes. Fate sees this as dignity, and dignity is very attractive. This takes heart because it means facing the empty feeling left by obsession. But that space is where magic happens. When you feel your soul is ready to stop begging and start attracting, you need to mark that choice. To show you are serious, I invite you to leave a note of your will. If you are ready for your power, write the words, "I deserve the totality." By doing this, you are not just typing. You are making a contract with yourself and life. You are saying you won't take scraps or doubts anymore. This marks the end of being a victim and the start of being a creator. By saying you deserve the whole thing, you tell the universe that anything less is not for you. And when you raise your bar, life has to rise with it. This person will feel the change. They won't know why, but they will sense you have shifted. You are no longer just an option. You are a mystery, someone who values themselves enough to move on. Once you decide this, something happens to the other person. By breaking the need, you become a whole person again. Only two whole people can have a real union. This is your move to get back to the center of your own life. It opens a path or closes one, but it gives you your freedom. Now that the choice is made, how do you keep it up? This is where you turn fear into gold. Letting go is often seen the wrong way. People think it means forgetting or not caring. That is not true. Letting go is about being free. It means giving up the control of how and when. It means taking your hands off the neck of fate so it can breathe. Imagine holding sand. If you squeeze, it leaves. If you open your hand, it stays. You can keep love in your heart without choking the bond. This change lets energy flow to you instead of away from you. Attention is energy. All this time, by thinking about them and checking their moves, you have been giving them your life energy. You have been feeding them. That is why they are calm and can move on without looking back. They are full of your energy. You feel tired and empty because you are giving your power away. The change starts when you bring that energy back home to your center. At first, it feels weird, but it is vital. When you stop feeding them, two things happen. First, you get your light and your charm back. You become vibrant again. Second, the other person feels a gap. Suddenly, the free energy they were getting is gone. A vacuum is made, and the universe hates a vacuum. This is when the dynamic flips. The other person feels your absence not as a weight, but as a gap. Something is missing that they took for granted. This feeling makes them curious. They start to wonder what happened to you and why you are quiet. This mystery makes you magnetic. The truth is that your return to yourself is what brings them back. When you take your center back, you send a message of abundance. Abundance attracts. Whether this bond starts again or not doesn't matter because you have your story back. If the universe wants this for you, the door will open at the right time, easily and without a fight. As you step into this new way of being, you might wonder what happens next in the quiet space you have created. This phase is about the physical manifestation of your inner shift. When you stop chasing the shadow of the relationship, the shadow starts to follow you. This is a law of nature. For so long, your world revolved around the other, but now the gravity has shifted back to your own soul. This is where the most profound parts of your destiny begin to take shape. You will notice that your sleep becomes deeper and your mind becomes clearer, because you are no longer using all your mental strength to solve a puzzle that wasn't meant to be solved by logic. In this clarity, you start to see signs that are no longer filtered through the lens of desperation. These are real directions from the universe. You might encounter new people, find new passions, or receive sudden insights that have nothing to do with the person you were waiting for, yet these are the very things that make you more magnetic to the connection you desire. The next part of this journey is about total trust in the timing of your life. You have cleared the channel and reclaimed your energy, and now the universe is rearranging the pieces of your reality to match your new, higher vibration. It is common during this time to feel a sudden check-in from the person in question. This often happens just as you have truly reached a point of not needing it. This is the universe testing your new boundaries and your new sense of self. When that moment comes, you will respond from a place of strength rather than a place of lack. You are no longer a passenger in this story. You are the one writing the chapters. By staying centered and honoring your own worth, you ensure that whatever comes next, whether it is a powerful reunion or a beautiful new beginning, is grounded in truth and respect. You have done the hard work of turning inward, and now you can relax and watch as life brings the results to your doorstep. The struggle is over, and the flow has finally begun. As you move forward from this point of power, you enter the stage of active manifestation where the invisible becomes visible. This is the part where the silence you once feared starts to speak in a different way. Now that you have pulled your energy back to your own center, the person on the other side of the bond starts to feel a strange, cold wind where your warmth used to be. This is the moment of the energetic shift. When they can no longer feel your constant mental reach, their own soul begins to search for you. It is a natural law that we only feel the pull of a connection once the pressure is removed. You will likely start to see even more symbols of this person in your daily life, but they will no longer trigger a feeling of panic. Instead, they will serve as quiet nods from the universe that the path is being cleared. This is the time to stay incredibly still within your own spirit. Do not rush to fill the void with new noise or go back to your old ways of checking for signs. Your stillness is your greatest weapon now. It is the vacuum that draws the other person back into your reality, but this time they come back to a person who is no longer waiting at the door. The next part of this process involves the physical world catching up to your new frequency. You may find that your external life starts to change in ways you didn't expect. New opportunities at work, a sudden boost in your creative energy, or a shift in your physical appearance are all common results of taking your power back. This happens because the energy you were wasting on waiting is now being used to build your own kingdom. This is the ultimate test of your new sovereignty. The universe will often bring a small breadcrumb of communication or a chance encounter to see if you will immediately fall back into the energy of the beggar. If you remain the master of your own joy, you pass the test. This is when the connection stops being a source of pain and starts being a source of power. You are moving into a phase where you no longer hope for the best. You know that the best is already yours because you are the one creating it. The red thread is now tight and clear, and as you walk forward toward your own brilliance, anyone truly meant for your path will have no choice but to follow the light you are now projecting. You have moved from the shadow into the sun, and everything in your life is about to reflect that heat.